Hello and welcome to this crochet tutorial on how to make the uphill climb hat. You'll see that it does have a folded portion, so the headband is actually part of the hat. This will be great in having that double warmth to help keep your ears warm. So come with me, let's make this hat together and have the uphill climb help keep our head warm. Let's get started. The yarns that I'm going to be using to make this uphill climb hat with is all by Red Heart. The first one is With Love, and the color is light gray. You also notice that there is a little metallic in it to give it a little sparkle and shine. The next one I have here is by Red Heart Soft. It is the color of Deep Sea. It is a teal, a light teal color. The next one is the Red Heart Super Saver Accent in the color Guava. We have a pair of scissors, a crochet hook, and a tapestry needle with a large eye so that we can sew in some ends. Let's get started. Let me identify this hook a little bit better. It is a size I9, 5.5 millimeter, and is by Susan Bates. Before we begin, please pull out an ample amount of yarn that you'll need just to get started, just so it won't twist up. And then we're going to go ahead and begin. I would like for you to have about a 6 or 8 inch tail so we can use that to sew it in later. We're going to start off with a magic circle. And on that first chain that we did, let's snug it up, and that'll help make it so that the tail doesn't allow the ring to get larger as we go along. Throughout this pattern, the chain 3 does count as 1 double crochet. Let's proceed on and add 11 double crochets into our circle. 1, 2, continue on until you have the total of 12, including the chain 3. After we have our 12, I'd like for you to place your finger and thumb over your last set of stitches and pull that tail closed till we have a small circle here. And go ahead and set it down. Do not cut it. We'll weave it in a little bit. At the top of chain 3, let's go ahead and place a slip stitch. I like to pick up 2 parts of that chain so that my stitching doesn't look stretched out. Chain 3. And in the same place that we slip stitched, 1 double crochet. In our next stitch, and in each of the 12 around, we're going to place 2 double crochets in each of those stitches. Continue that around. I'll meet you at the end of the row. Please pause your video. Double check to make sure that you have 24 double crochets around. At the top of the chain 3, we're going to place our slip stitch. and chain 3 again. In the same space that you did your slip stitch, double crochet. And in the next stitch, 2 double crochets, as we did the row before. We're going to do 2 double crochets per stitch, so when you're done with this row you should have 48 stitches. Remember to include the chain 3 as one of your double crochets. Continue around. I'll meet you there. Please pause your video. Looking with the light shining on it, it's all sparkly. I don't know if the camera is picking it up. It sure is pretty. So after we did our 48, we want to slip stitch into the top, and then make your slip stitch a little larger here. We're going to flip this over. So before we forget, let's go ahead and do our sewing in of our magic circle. We don't want it to come apart. So after you've threaded your needle, go ahead and go through the center of those stitches again to go around one more time. This will help reinforce that yarn if it ever breaks or anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go about halfway, and I'm going to go over one of the yarns and go back the other direction. Then I'm going to go over another yarn and go into another direction. And a little snug, and that'll hold it in place. And we no longer have to worry about our magic circle. I hope I didn't go too fast for you. Okay, so let's chain 3. Now in this row, we're going to do 2 in the first same stitch. So double crochet in the same stitch. Then we're going to go across 5 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. On our 6th one, we'll add 2 double crochets into the same space. This will increase a little bit more instead of having 2 stitches in each one. We'll do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And in our next stitch, 2 double crochets. I'm going to encourage you to do this all the way around. When you get to the end of the row, I'll meet you there. Please pause your video. You like how our circle's getting pretty big? Okay, we have one more row of increases, so let's go to the top of that chain 3, do our slip stitch, and chain 3. And in that same space as your slip stitch, 1 double crochet. Now we're going to do 7 single double crochets. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then in our next stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochets. So our repeat this row is 7 single and a double. Continue with that around. I'll meet you at the end of the row. You should have 64 double crochets all the way around. Please pause your video. So after completing that row, you'll see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows completed. We're looking for a total of 10 rows. So after we slip stitch into the top of the third, chain 3. Okay, so right here we're in this stitch here. We want to go to this stitch next, and we're going to count 64 stitches around. So for the next 5 rows, we will do 64 stitches on each row with the slip stitch to close at the top of the chain 3. This will cause it to cup and curve. Take note of which is the right side and the wrong side. The side that's facing you is your right side. The one on the inside is your wrong side. So as you go around, it'll start to cup up. Make sure that your right side is on the outside. Continue with that, and I'll meet you after you have completed 5 rows. Please pause your video. After the 10 rows that we have completed, try it on to make sure that it goes to the length that you want it to. The uphill climb design actually folds over the top of the hat. Now, if you prefer to have it go down and be flat, then you do not need to add any more. In this, you'll see that I have added an additional 3 rows so that we will have 13 rows instead of 10. So consider that before you move on, and let's move on to our next step. So after we've completed the 10 rows, you have this nice cupping for your hat. Now, in order to make the decorative brim, the uphill climb pattern, what we're going to do is we're going to go backwards, because our pattern, we want the right side facing up. So we're going to go backwards on this row so that the wrong side is facing you. So when we do the pattern, it'll be the right side facing you. So go ahead and do the 64 double crochets all the way around. Then we're going to start pulling up our colors and start the pattern. Please pause your video. I'll see you then. So after we've gotten to our 64, we're going to chain 1, and now we are going to start our pattern. But we were actually going to be using the gray first so that we can get the pattern. So in our first stitch right here where we chained 1, we want to place 1 single crochet. The The second stitch, 1 single crochet. The third stitch, 1 half double crochet. The fourth stitch, 1 half double crochet. The fifth stitch, 1 double crochet. The sixth stitch, 1 double crochet. The seventh stitch, 1 treble, which means you wrap it twice. And for the 8th stitch, because this is an 8 pattern repeat, we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This counts as a treble. So in that 8th stitch, we're going to slip stitch. And here we have started our uphill climb. In our next stitch, we're going to start our repeat again. 1 single crochet. The next stitch, 1 single crochet, half double, half double, 1 double crochet, second double crochet, 1 treble, and a chain 4. Slip stitch into the next. Okay, so did you get that? 2 singles, 2 half doubles, 2 doubles, 1 treble, 1 chain 4. Continue that all the way around. When you get here at the beginning, I'll meet you there. Please pause your video. So at the end, after you've completed your slip stitch, we're going to go ahead and slip stitch into that single crochet. So that'll help close that row off. Leave yourself a nice little tail so we can weave this in later, and let's pull our yarn through. Okay, so you have the uphill climb all the way around. You can make a nice edging as well. So we're going to start on our next color, which for me is the guave. Let's go ahead and place a slip knot on your hook and let's get started. We're going to be going over the tails of our stitching that we've been doing. So I'm just going to have mine in as I do my stitches. So the first thing we're going to do here is what is called a standing treble. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? No, it's not hard. Let me show you how to do that. With your slip knot on your hook, place your finger on top of it. Wrap it twice. Okay, the tension from your other hand is going to keep those stitches nice. Now go into that first single crochet right there where you slip stitched at. Okay, and put your hook in. I go through 2 loops and bring up a loop. Okay, keep that finger there and keep your tension a little tight as we do this stitch, and it'll be just fine. There we go. How was that? I knew you could do it. So let's do it again. We're going to do another treble in the next single crochet. What we're going to be doing is the stitching that we've done, but going backwards. And because the trebles are here, we won't have to do the chain stitch on this. So this is going to be a little bit different this row. Okay, so we got our 2 trebles. Our next one is, in that next stitch, a double crochet, double crochet in the next one, half double crochet in the next one, half double crochet, Okay, and here's our treble. So we want to place one single crochet in there, and at the very top of our chain we're going to place our second single crochet. I like going through 2 loops because I don't like stretching that chain out, so I'm digging here. It's going to take me just a second. Here we go. Okay, so here's the second. All right. And to move on, we're going to go down here. We don't want to do into the slip stitch. We want to do it right here into that single crochet. We're going to do a treble. So yarn over twice into that single crochet and complete our treble. One more treble in the next stitch. Double crochet in the next stitch. Double crochet. Half double crochet. Half double crochet. And here's our treble. Single crochet and single crochet in the top of the chain. I think you got that down pat. I know you're getting ahead of me, but you can see our pattern emerging here. Continue around until you get to the end of the row and I'll show you how to finish it. Please pause your video. So when you get to the end of the row, you just slip stitch into that treble, and that'll complete our circle. And let's cut our yarn, pull it through. There we go. So we're ready to start our next color, which will be the deep sea color. Go ahead and place a slip knot on your hook and we'll get started with that in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and weave some of these ends in. So we're going to be doing the same thing we did on our first row. So basically this uphill climb pattern is a 2-row repeat. So right here in our treble, let's go ahead and make a single crochet. Okay, and I decided to carry my tails over, so they're going to go underneath my stitching. In our second stitch, a single crochet. In our third stitch, half double crochet. I think you're catching on to this pattern, aren't you? It's actually a pretty simple pattern. So the fourth stitch was the half double crochet. The next stitch, our fifth one, is a double crochet. Our sixth stitch is a double crochet. Our seventh stitch is our treble. Oops. Okay, and then we have our chain stitch. Chain 4. Then we're going to slip stitch right here into that single crochet stitch. So you know, since you've got your first row up, you know that there's no way to mess up. Okay, so moving on to our next one. Here's our first treble. We know what goes in there. It's our single crochet. Our second one is a single crochet. Okay. Half double crochet. Half double crochet. Double crochet. Double crochet. Treble. and then chain 4. So I'm going to encourage you to continue on. I would like for you to please pause your video. That way we can finish this together. So to finish off this row, we'll do the same as we did in the first row of our uphill climb design. We'll slip stitch and then leave a tail and cut our yarn. Our next color is our last row, and that will be the gray color. So go ahead and place your slip knot on that hook and let's get started. So you remember how we started it before? Yes, it's treble time. Place your finger on top of your loop, wrap it twice, and in that first single crochet where we just left, we're going to go ahead and do our standing treble. Our next stitch is the treble. Double crochet, double crochet, half double crochet, half double crochet, single crochet, and single crochet in the top of the chain. Okay, treble all the way down here in that first single crochet. Our second treble, double crochet. I'm going to take you to the end of this multiple, and then I'm going to encourage you to finish it, the row. Okay, now we got 2 half double crochets, single crochet on top of the treble, and single crochet into that top of the chain. Okay, you can see our pattern here. After this row, we will have one more row, and that will be of our double crochet, and then we are totally finished with this. If you choose to put a pom-pom or something like that on it, I have videos on how to do that. I'm going to leave mine plain. I think it'll be nicer without it. So go ahead and finish this row, and I'll show you how to do the last row. Please pause your video. So to finish this row, we're going to slip stitch into the top of that treble and chain 3. And let's continue on. We're going to do 1 stitch, 1 double crochet per stitch, and that will be our last row. So continue around. We'll finish off with a slip stitch, and I'll see you there. Please pause your video. After I completed my last row of double crochets, I have a few yarns I need to weave in. I encourage you to weave yours in, hopefully within the same color range that you need to do. Go ahead and do that, and I'll see you in a second. So I hope you enjoyed this journey of making this hat with the uphill climb design in it. I think you'll find that it is super comfortable and looks amazing. Now I'd like to also show you that I have a scarf. This is on another video that I have, so it will coordinate with the hat if you choose. This has fringe, and it will help keep you warm through these cool months. The next thing that I will have, which I have not created at this time, is fingerless gloves. The design will go across and have an opening for your thumb. So until that next time, I hope you enjoy your crocheting projects with me. Come back again. My name is Garnet, and I'm glad that you were here making these projects with me. So until next time, bye-bye.